I'm going to talk to you about loneliness. It's a big one. This is a big one, something massive that we're all going through, actually. And I know we can blame it on technology, we can blame it on phones, we could blame it on AI, we could blame it on a million things. But I would like the awareness to come through with this incredible amount of loneliness that a lot of us are going through, and we're not talking about it. And a lot of people see everybody thinking everybody's not feeling it, right? A lot of us are feeling it, especially very sensitive empaths. We are feeling the deep pain of loneliness, because the true thing is, I've been feeling this kind of loneliness for the past few days, to be quite honest, and it comes and goes, but when it comes in like, it slaps me everywhere. It's like, even if I'm surrounded by people, the anguish and pain of loneliness and lack of trust in humanity and lack of trust of being myself just overwhelms. It's like a wave, and then a few hours later it disappears, or the next day it disappears, and the next day I'm like elated. And of course I sat with loneliness, and I practice what I preach as much as I can. And I sat with loneliness and I allowed it to be there. I'm like, you're allowed to be lonely, instead of like running out to figure out like, how can I fill up my loneliness? What can I do? I need a community. I need a tribe. I need people. I need this. I need that. Which I was in that energy. So even though I know all this and you all know all this, trust that we all go through this, right? It happens. Where you're overwhelmed by an emotion that has been there maybe for years, except that you were so busy in your life and, just busying around, so that like you're like stuffing it in, like silencing it, band-aiding it all the time by over busying. And then when you are not that busy, there is time, it comes flooding in. And even if you are busy, you feel it. I don't know how many of you resonate with this, but I'm sharing my experience and the information I'm receiving for it. And it took a few days to actually be open to receiving information on how to work with myself, which I'm here to share. So, but this is my experience, and you're more than welcome to try it out if you like, or get the insights of whatever comes through for you, because if you're watching this, you're feeling this. If you've felt betrayed by family, and it doesn't have to be massive, it can be just the word betrayal, meaning your blood, right? Your blood relatives, the people that you're meant to feel safest with, the people who, when the world is harsh, you like cocoon with, you go inwards with, and they're supposed to care for you and cuddle you and hug you and let you know that it's all going to be fine, and that at least you have them with you. This is the feeling, that at least you have them with you, taking care of you, and they have your side. They got your back, right? When that foundation isn't there, when you wake up to the truth that foundation has toppled, doesn't exist, right? Because you spend years trying to pull it together, fix it, work it. Maybe it's your fault. Maybe it's their fault. You try to explain to them who they need to be, how you're hurt. You do the vulnerability talk. It doesn't work. You do the stand up and angry talk. It doesn't work. You write them letters. You do whatever it is with your family. You disconnect and disassociate in hopes that they'll come rushing towards you, missing you because of all the effort you've put into the family, all the energy you've spent on them, all the ways in which you've sacrificed yourself for their well-being and have been there for them, to only discover that when you need them, they're not there. And this is, that's why I started off by saying not to blame it on the internet and COVID or whatever it is, right? But it's the truth of the awakening. And I'm not blaming it on awakening. It's the beauty of when you wake up to consciously be aware of, I'm not receiving love or kindness the way I give it, or what makes me feel safe. I don't feel safe. And then you go through this huge turmoil with family members where one family member does something and all of them don't stand by your side and stand by that other person, it just becomes a mess, right? I've gone through that. And very recently, in the past few years, with a few of my family members, it was shocking to what degree in which I didn't matter at all, growing up believing that I mattered so much, but I mattered because of what I was doing and offering them, and dimming me, shutting me down all the time, self-sacrificing because I was part of a family, and blood is thicker than water and all that stuff that's being said all the time, right? And the guilt of being like, no, I should do this, I shouldn't have done, the shoulding yourself. When you start to consciously wake up, that the people who were meant to care for you here, have your back, stand up for you, are not there. And they're the ones who tell you things that hurt, right? Or when you need them, discard you, or make you feel less of yourself, or argue with you that you don't deserve to feel that way because, you know, like they word salad, they change it around where it's still your fault that they're feeling this way, instead of them hugging you through your own personal pain and being there for you. This is the essence of where trust comes in. This is where your trust of humanity comes in. This is where you feel the safest, and it's gone. And it's gone, and it feels empty and lonely. And so we all start looking for a tribe and community, which is our every right to do, to fill up the void of family discard, right? Family betrayal, the truth being shown to you, like, how much have you done? And it's not that you're waiting for a return, but you're waiting for a percentage back of like kindness, compassion, somebody to ask, how are you doing? How are you feeling? How can I be there for you? Okay. No, she shouldn't have spoken to you that way. I totally have your back. Right. But when that disappears, right, it feels lonely. And so as I was feeling my feeling, of course, I've gone through this before and I thought I was done, but of course not. It came flooding back in the last week of the true feeling of loneliness. And then, of course, as the way the universe works, I got onto YouTube. I didn't type anything. I was just like, let me see what the universe has to tell me, you know, through words. Sometimes I'm a very auditory person. And first video, Bernie Brown, who I haven't heard or read in years. So it's not like in my algorithms. Haven't heard in years, okay? Even though I really respect her, highly respect her research. I think she's a phenomenal human being. Haven't heard her in years. She pops up and it's called Family Betrayal. I was like, this is so superb. Press play, hear it, and everything in my system makes sense. I'm like, that's why this loneliness keeps coming back. I've been betrayed, and there's this guilt inside, right? Like whenever I talk to one of my family members, they're like, yeah, but family, you should speak. You need to talk with your sister or this person or that person. You need to make amends. It's family's thicker than water. And there's this guilt and shame about it. But then there's no understanding as to what you have gone through in your pain. And then this video pops up and she starts to say things like, this is the worst pain. This makes you lose trust in all humanity. It makes you feel unsafe because your foundation has disappeared. The beings that are here that are meant to care for you and not betray you and not talk down to you and not put you down and not criticize you and be there for you, that's not there. So you lose all sense of safety on this planet. I was like, oh, and it was like this great awareness of like, that's what it is. It's like, as if I was denying that it hurts so much because I should get over it, right? In the spiritual industry, everything's about forgiveness. You gotta forgive. If you don't forgive, then your life will be in mayhem. And it dawned on me, like, I've been trying to forgive the unforgivable because I want to be still the good person and living up to that good girl identity, when it's nothing but true pain, because it's like, what did I do wrong to deserve to be treated this way by so many family members? I believed I was nothing but truly amazing for them. Did I not matter? Like, it's all this language that started to pop up. Not that I never saw it before. I thought I was done. But it popped up from a new angle, from a new pocket. And for me to be feeling that it's okay not to forgive, like how the spiritual industry is saying you don't have to forgive, but a lot of times they say you must forgive. Like there's this dual, but neither is true. It's like, what are you feeling and how can you honor how you feel? If you're still hurt or angry or sad. So I was angry for 3 years. I was like really angry, really fighting for my right, really upset, like cutting off and seeing. And now it's like the sadness and hollowness of loneliness. It's a sadness. And in the sadness, she popped up. Things started to shift starting like a few days ago. And I started to understand that I can be in this sadness and I don't have to fix it or work it out. And yes, I feel lonely. Yes, they are the foundation. And yes, it's the cause of my lack of trust in humanity, lack of trust in myself, lack of trust in other people, because the foundation of where I believed that I could trust was broken in such a harsh, cruel way, so that I can wake up to the truth, so I can start to provide trust within me outside of that. And also to be able to give yourself, you got to give yourself the freedom not to forgive. You got to give yourself the freedom, blood is thicker than water, to understand that that is not true. That just keeps us all in situations. Even if you've cut your family off, there's still the guilt, there's still the missing. You're going to miss them. You can't talk yourself out of missing them. Of course you miss them. Of course you miss your past life. Of course you miss the idea of what you had for this family. The idea, the concept of this family that you were actually in love with. So it was the idea of what a family was, not knowing that you're constantly depleted. You never appreciated. Thank you doesn't come your way easily, right? From your family members. And when that breaks, this is where the loneliness and emptiness comes. And this is why a lot of us are looking for a tribe and community, because we want to bring that family feeling, but the healthy one, the one we imagined, the one we envisioned, the one we dreamed about, the family dynamics we saw in movies where all the family would meet and they would fight, but then they would all get along, right? We want that. We want that emotional safety with others. And if we can only be okay with, we're allowed to not forgive. It's okay if we don't. It's okay to know that blood is not thicker than water, and yes, factually blood is thicker than water, but that's not the foundation in which family resides. That loneliness is okay, and it's okay to build a new family with a new perspective and a new you. And this was very hard. It's very hard to do because there's always, everything on this planet has told us that family is the most important thing. And usually families, when we watch them in movies or see pictures on Facebook or whatever, and they're gathering and they're eating and they're talking and they're laughing, that's what we miss. That's what we wished for. That's what we made sure to keep our family together and make amends with everyone and make constantly band-aiding situations and, breathing out the oxygen of delight and managing everything so that it can stay in that dream world that we desired. But then the bubble pops, boop, and you wake up and you're like, it's never been that way. It's only been that way in my head, and I've been working so hard to make it that way, and it never was. And that's the biggest disappointment. Right? That's the biggest disappointment. And sometimes when you reach out to them and you try to send them that text just out of the kindness of your heart because you miss them, they discard you again. They betray you. They say something hurtful. They're mean to you, right? In a very, you don't matter at all. And it's a pain again that you have to deal with, and that's okay. And that's okay to deal with that pain. And that's okay to sit with I don't matter. I'm too much for them. And I'm also never enough. My love for them and my ability to do so much for them has never been enough. And at the same time, my emotions and who I am has been way too much for them. So I just wanted to share that, the truth of what is happening with me and the truth of what I'm hearing a lot of my clients share with me also, since a lot of times we move collectively, and some friends, quite a lot of friends going through it. So just wanted to share that to let them go is really hard, and you have to build a whole new you again and let go of the dream of that happy family existing, and that accept that you may not matter to them, but how about you mattering to you? Try it out. See how that feels. Share with me if you're experiencing something similar, if you're feeling this way, this suffocating loneliness inside, this need for noise and family, but just the imaginary one, and coming to terms with having nothing in common with your family at all, and never being understood by them, appreciated by them, seen by them, given credit, nothing. And coming to terms with that. This is the hardest thing, and it probably is the cause of a lot of sadness, mistrust of humanity, because that is the base of our foundation. That is how we learned to trust, to feel safe. To feel safe making new friends, to feel safe being authentic. And so we have a Facebook group that I'm hoping would be safe for you to be you on, and meet other people that we can all practice together, feeling safe by strangers who are empathetic and who also have the same fear of connecting in a deep way, in fear of the consequences of doing that, or giving too much and feeling taken advantage of and used and discarded. That's how I feel. So in that group, we're hoping to change the dynamics where we can all get to experience kindness and the freedom to feel safe amongst other human beings, and not necessarily our family members, but to now know how to choose people differently and feel safe enough to open up and try to trust again. Anyway, okay. I love you all so much. Take care of yourselves. If you want to support us, you could go to our Buy Me a Coffee account, and you can donate and support our channel and what we're doing as we're building a platform. We're going from Facebook to another platform, which we're still working on. You can go down into the description and see all our offerings. We have a freebie that you would love to try out. Maybe I'll come up with another freebie for loneliness. I'll have to feel into it. I've got my 2 books there. Discover the Gifts of Your Disempowered Self is extremely powerful. It was channeled right through me in 2 weeks. It's extremely powerful. I highly recommend it. And if you're in a narcissistic relationship and you don't want to feel alone in it, get my Happily Ever After. I've written it in a novel way, in a novel form. It's my true story, true experience, but in a novel. And yeah, and that's it. I love you all so much, and thank you for being here. It's beautiful to connect with so many different empaths, kind people in the world. And it's lovely to speak to people who are feeling very similar emotions, just for us to know that we're not alone. You know, that's the most important thing for me, is for everyone to feel that they're not alone, because that was my biggest challenge, is the feeling that I'm all alone, even surrounded by family and friends and married, and felt alone always internally. So it's the most thing I'd love to offer humanity, is you're not alone in how you feel. So many are feeling the same way. And I love you so deeply. So deeply. Bye.